Hello and welcome to episode number 15 of season 3 of Empowered Podcast. I am one of your hosts, Michael Abney, and I'm here today with
Marilyn Egan. Yay, 15.
I know we just keep on rolling. It's awesome.
Yes.
Rolling it right into the end of the year.
Yes, this is great. I'm loving it.
Me too.
Yes, and today we have a really special guest with us. And we are going to have a great conversation about not only the new year, but the new decade.
Awesome.
2020.
Yeah.
2020.
It's here.
Right.
It sounds like it should be forever away, but it's here.
It's here.
Yeah.
Almost.
This is Courtney Blaine.
Hello, everyone.
And Courtney was here last year with us.
Yeah.
And the episode was called Feeling It in 2019. But kind of talking about, feeling our way through the year. Mm-hmm. And it was incredible. And I'll link that podcast to this one so people have a reference to it, even though the information is good. But like today, when I was driving here, today was, yes, we're talking about 2020, but something was different about it.
Oh,
like the clarity.
Big time.
2020 vision. And so I sort of was feeling what we're going to talk about. I know it's going to be great, but thank you so much for being here today.
I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me back. It's an honor to be with both of you.
When we were planning this out, I was like, oh, absolutely. It was one of the first things that we said.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks.
When we were
It's an
plotting
honor.
it out. So this will air sometime before Christmas and just give people an opportunity to, maybe get complete with this year.
Yeah.
And because this was a ride.
This was quite a ride.
It was quite a ride.
Yes, it
and
was.
I recently listened to it again, and you talked about that. You literally talked about this year being like really transformational for people, and
a lot of earth energies, a lot of awareness environmentally. Yeah.
So
we saw a lot of that play
we did.
out. And I remember that was pretty cool how we've all three kind of tapped into that collective wisdom that was coming in for the earth and Mama Gaia. And it was just like, wow. Yeah. Chills big time. So that was a cool podcast.
Yes.
Yeah.
well, this one's going to be really cool too.
Yeah, I know. I'm excited.
So.
Yeah.
I don't know what it's called yet, but it's something.
Well, you know what? We just go with the flow, right?
We'll figure it out.
Yes, it'll show up.
That's
It'll
right.
show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, the thing with this year that was really powerful, I think, for a lot of us is that we went through this experience of ancestral healing and generational healing big time. And so a lot of it came in. Yes, we had a lot of the earth-based energies and things like that, but people were really called to create boundaries. And I like to call them containers because that's the way I roll in the circles I do. And so creating containers so that you are honoring yourself and your own sovereignty inside of those relationships. And so inside of those containers are your boundaries, right? What you allow and what you won't allow. And I think because we created that, that energy helped support some of this ancestral and generational healing that was coming down closer as we got into the shadow energy in the fall. And, which is normal. I mean, we have, Samhain, we have Halloween, and, we have the Day of the Dead, and that all comes together for a reason. And it comes together for us to honor our ancestors and to activate that energy. And seasonally, that's the shadow. And so anything that's been existing. But I think because we're coming into this new decade, there is so much that needed to be brought up to the surface and cleared and looked at and healed and shifted. And so a lot of people, especially with Samhain, Halloween, hitting that Mercury retrograde period too. So we just kind of went with this, cosmic roller coaster almost. And it was so much energy that was coming in. And so I heard a lot of people during that time frame went from, wow, like everything's changed in my life. Everything has shifted. People that were present are no longer present. I've got this new energy coming in. And so it was intense. But I think that's part of ending and clearing out and putting closure to this decade.
Yes, well, to even more than just the decade,
Yeah.
though, because what I was seeing too is that people are clearing so much more deeply. They're clearing generational patterns that their families were never able to clear.
Oh, yeah.
And it's kind of like right now, if you're willing to open that up, it will go deep into
Yes, it
many,
will.
many, many generations
Right.
back.
Right.
Which is huge for it to be clear and open and moved out of your system
Right.
for the future and for the future generations.
Right.
It's setting us up for
Yeah.
beautiful growth.
Yeah, and it kicked off those ascension openings, those ascension gateways, those portals. So we had 10:10, 11:11. We've got 12:12, and yeah. So each one of those carries all of these light code frequencies, all of these DNA activations that are going to come in. And so, in order for us to be in the space to receive and to really allow those to expand in the way, like we have to just allow ourselves to travel through that. The other piece is that for us to create this new earth that's coming in for ascension, we can't take any of that generational stuff with us.
Right.
Like our kids are done. Like
Yes.
my daughter, she like, even if I wanted to play in that old energy, she's like, I don't know who you think I am, Mom, but I'm not doing that. It's like, oh, yeah, that's right. So, I mean, even as 9 years old, we've got these kids that are coming in that have these, I mean, they are just here
Solid
teachers for
Yes,
us.
they
And
are.
that's really where I feel like I'm shifting into, through expansion and everything that's kind of happening in my life. But, we are in this timeline shift. Big time. And that's what people are feeling into. They're feeling into, they're seeing this separation. They're seeing people that are kind of choosing to play in the duality, play in that space. And then they're also wanting to create this brighter future, really step into what they know is possible. And so before we can fully embody into that next, like, I don't know what you want to say, almost, it's a timeline, really.
Yes.
We have to go through that experience of kind of wobble, back and forth a little bit, feel our space, come back into balance, and then shift and kind of catapult into that. So I think 2020 is going to carry a lot of those frequencies. Now, I think mid-January is going to get intense. We've got some intensity coming in January, but and I think it's a little bit more earth-based stuff that's showing up. This year's going to be super abundant, is what I get. I get that it's just, and there's going to be a pulling away that continues to happen. We hear that said, and I think that's where a lot of sometimes these ancient wisdom teachings come from, different, you can look in the Bible, there's different, books and ancient teachings that talk about the separation of the wheat and the chaff, separating of that. And I think it's actually what I've received is that that's part of them intuiting that timeline piece. It's part of them pulling out of that energy frequency. And some people are going to choose to stay in that 3D duality, kind of bouncing around. They might get to 4D and kind of play around in the duality a little bit. But it's by choice. We all have choice.
Yes, exactly.
And there's nothing wrong with anyone choosing whatever they want to choose.
It isn't.
Right,
Right.
right.
Yeah.
I mean, I used to look at that like, they had to. You know,
Right.
we have to ship.
No.
No, we don't.
No, we don't.
No.
No, they don't.
No.
They don't. And some will choose to be on the journey, like we have been on this journey and been working with this energy for a long time. And there will be some people who won't even have to really go through the journey. They'll just wake up
Yep.
and go, oh,
Yep.
I get it now.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
You're
yeah.
welcome.
And that's,
Yeah.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's great too.
It is.
And then there will probably be some who just choose to not go there at all.
Right.
And that's their choice too. It's all okay.
Yeah, it's that quantum shift, that quantum leap that they take, and that's what's beautiful about right now. Like we've been, those of us that have been kind of doing some of this work, and that's the other thing. Like there's no better than or comparison or one person's more spiritual than the other. Like we got to let go of all of that kind of competition based stuff that tries to program its way into spirituality, because it's just,
it
I can't handle it. I just can't handle it. But I think, some of us came to wisdom teachings and some of this knowledge early on for whatever reason. Mm-hmm. And I think we all carry it from lifetime. So I think we're all capable of awakening it. But it may have been activated, or something was created as a catalyst in your life that caused it to awaken earlier than others at times. And so everybody's got their own path and their own time, and certain things have to play out in their life for that to happen and experience. So I think I think that's kind of the interesting energy of how we've already moved into some of these ascension timelines, is because people will come to this awareness. They'll get the teaching, they'll get the knowledge, and then they take that huge quantum shift, and now they're just embodying it.
Right.
And that's my word for 2020 is embodiment.
Yes.
Because you are, it's all about everything that we've been wanting to experience, hoping to experience, and it's embodying this level of love that we've never quite even seen possible. And so, that, I think that's what I would just want to convey to anyone listening, is like, that's our North Star always.
Yes.
That's always our North Star. And like, it's a love that's unconditional, but a sovereign unconditional. You have to love yourself fiercely, and in an honoring way, before you can show up unconditionally for anyone else.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah, totally agree.
Point.
Yes.
Yeah.
And everyone is on their own individual journey with this.
Yes.
And that's the piece where the comparing does no good whatsoever.
Right.
But I've got a few people who come in and they're scared because they're thinking they've gone backwards. I said, no, you've not moved backwards. It's just another opening.
Yep.
Sometimes these openings don't feel as good momentarily until we get through it.
Right.
And it's scary for some people because they start comparing themselves to others. And like, no comparison here. No. Nobody can ever know anyone's complete story.
They can't.
The past lives, the generational patterns, nobody can ever know that about any one person.
And that's the thing I think we're moving into too with this embodiment piece, is that you are to embody your own oracle, your own sovereign being, just like what you were saying earlier about the deity. It's like you are it.
Yes.
I am the I am teachings, coming back to that piece of it. And so that you are embodying all of those things and knowing that nothing that's outside of you is going to be more added to you. If you're seeing it reflected in anyone, so here's a little piece with the comparison stuff or judgment.
Yes.
I love to kind of go down this rabbit hole with it, but it's like if you're seeing something being reflected in someone else and you're finding yourself in comparison, that simply means that energy is waiting to be discovered within you.
Right.
And it's and whatever human experience you have in that moment, like, just breathe into that and like know that's there. You're all of it. You're all dimensions. You're all frequencies. You're all energies. Like you can choose whatever, and that's where the timeline shift is. The timeline jumping. When people talk about that, you get to choose. You have this or you have this. Which would you choose?
Right. But it's okay to look at it and embrace it in the moment. And then say, okay, I get it now. I've learned from that.
Yeah.
Now I'm choosing to move to the other piece of that.
Yeah, and healing and transformation does not feel warm and fuzzy.
No.
And shadow work does not feel warm and fuzzy.
Right.
You're seeing all of yourself, and we don't want a spiritual bypass. Going down that rabbit hole of shadow work and the deep internal work is important. And nothing can be brought out of you and released or experienced and brought and returned to love, because that's what all energy is asking to be done, is to be returned to love. That's the highest frequency. So even lower energies or whatever, it's all just asking to be returned to love. So that is done through that inner work, because that's how that light gets shown on it.
Yes.
And we all have those spaces. We all have those places we don't want to recognize within ourselves, that we don't want to see. We have past, we have, all these different things that have happened to us in past lives, this life, whatever trauma that's carrying around, and it needs to be seen and brought to the surface. And so that's what I think the intensity of some of this energy is that ancestral healing, that generational awareness was all coming up, and it was like we were getting all of our little trigger points pushed so that it could kind of like be, released. Like, there's the spot, let me press on it and see what comes out, that kind of thing. And it was like a universal experience for us.
Yes. Well, it's kind of like the quote that darkness is only light that doesn't recognize itself.
Absolutely.
So,
And, to the part of what you said earlier about the comparison thing, what came in was this Maya Angelou quote. It was like, you do your best until you know better, and then you do better.
When you know better, you do better.
Yeah, when you know better, you do better. And like, there's no judgment. That's another program that gets played out to keep us separate from ourselves, or keeping us not recognizing our own divine within us, is the separation through judgment. And we experience judgment through, whatever programming we've had come on, into our life. So it could have been religious programming, it could have been, childhood programming, whatever that we adopted as a belief system that's running under the surface. And then we tend to project through that eyes of that wound. And then we start to bring judgment onto ourselves, onto others, and that creates separation. And so then we just keep kind of going into the circular cycle of judgment and separation.
Is this what you were kind of detecting, or what you were sharing in January?
Yeah.
Because
the duality.
Something that's, because spirituality has a way, or even in, the world that we're in, for me, and I see it in others too, because I see it myself, and something that I'm transcending right now is that it's all spirituality.
Yeah.
There's not a separation of, bad stuff over here in the corner. I don't want to look at you. Good stuff come over here.
Right.
No.
Right.
It's
all.
Mm-hmm.
Because we're all.
We're all.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Anything that creates separation is kind of your little trigger, or, red flag to go, wait a minute. Like, let me come back into acceptance, oneness.
Acceptance.
Yeah. Acceptance, oneness, unconditional love from that frequency of sovereignty. I always like to add the sovereignty and the unconditional love, because I think sometimes, we have a lot of energy empaths, that come to this work. And that's, personally, I think that's one of the lessons that the empath has to experience, is their own sovereignty and their own boundaries, and understand that. Like, you have to go through some of these experiences to recognize that divinity within you, to recognize your own power, where you've been, misplacing some of that power. And so, that would be another thing that I would just say to reassure anyone that may have gone through some tough times, or is going through some tough times, that it's okay. Like, the ladies that work with me, I always have this saying, and they want to throw their shoes, pillows, tomatoes, whatever at me. But I say everything's always coming up to serve. And it really is. Like, even the pieces that don't feel good and that are uncomfortable in that
When
space.
you're really coming from that, there is no tough times.
There isn't. It's
There's
all
just
just
times.
a lesson.
There's just times.
Doesn't mean that we're not curled up on the floor in the fetal position in those moments. Like, that's totally human.
Right.
You need to
It's
honor
really
the
just
emotions.
resistance to what is.
It is.
Like, all the stuff that we think is bad is really, it's just resistance.
You're resisting it. Absolutely.
Just resisting what
Yes.
is. Mm-hmm. And when you stop that, you're free.
Yeah.
Right.
And we're human. So when it does come up, it does maybe take a moment of laying in the floor curled up.
Yeah, and that's
But you want to do just a moment. You don't want to live there.
Well, no, right. But I think there is this piece of where we kind of got into some of the toxic positivity piece, where people had kind of used some of the law of attraction teachings and things, and not that that's not a truth. It is. It's a universal
Half
truth.
of the truth.
But we can't toxic positive our way into a feeling good place. That's not what it's
No.
going to do, right?
No.
So it's like we have
Exactly.
to honor what is. And the more we can accept that through, again, that lens of non-judgment within ourselves, then we can embody and embrace all of us, and we're not splintering ourselves out. That's the piece, as we come into these ascensions, we're literally changing our DNA structure from carbon-based to crystalline energy. And so all of this starts to get activated, awakened, and we become this human crystal. So what does a crystal do when it's in the room, right? It causes all of the energy to vibrate to a higher level. So if you have activated and you have become this crystalline structure, you start to walk into a room, guess what?
Yes.
Everything
Everything shifts. Everything
Yes.
activates. And people either will go with that or they'll put you in a box of judgment because they don't want to go with it. They want to hold on to that. So that's just the way we work as humans.
Yes.
as magnets.
Yeah.
So tell me this.
Yeah.
And we might have talked about this last year too.
Okay.
But this is kind of a reflection of our whole world right now.
It is.
This is what's happening now.
Yeah.
It's coming to the surface to be seen
Right.
and processed and
Yep.
looked at and healed.
Yep.
And it doesn't feel good. But it is moving forward.
Right.
And it's that same kind of difficult feeling inside of us sometimes.
Yeah, so we're all tapped into the collective energy. So we, even if there's stuff playing out like in the government, in the world, like we on some level are feeling it. And so,
What's happening inside of us?
right.
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 It's just a reflection
It's a
of us.
reflection of us, right? So that shadow piece, like we talked about last year with president being shadow, and we had a lot of that shadowy. It is about illuminating those dark places, and it is about us getting out of duality consciousness. And I think that in order for us to be aware of that, we have to see how much in duality we actually have been operating in order to shift it and change it. We gotta get the finger on the pulse of what we've actually been playing in. Like, we talked about it last year, all the insidious kind of energies that have been playing out.
It's beyond
Yes.
that, though. It's like where we were at last year. I distinctly remember this conversation because
Yeah.
that it was very irritating to me at the
Yeah.
time.
Right.
Let's put it like that. But now I find myself hearing, like, I'm not big into like Bible quotes or anything
No,
like
right,
that,
yeah,
but
yeah.
God, this one thing does go off in my mind a lot. Like, forgive them for they know not what they do.
Absolutely.
Yes.
And not to, I don't want anybody to hear this and think that that's a judgment. It's not.
No.
It's just something. It's a place that they literally don't know. And what's happened is the recalibration of truth.
Yep.
Like, what is truth?
Right.
And
Yeah.
we all go through that within ourselves. We have to forgive.
What's our truth?
And then we also have to forgive ourselves for
Yeah.
things that we didn't know. And we want others to forgive us for
Right.
things we didn't know. And we
Right.
forgive them for things they didn't know.
Yeah. And now that we've done this kind of jump, this timeline shift, and we're moving into 2020,
Yes.
it's like there's going to be a lot of us that we're not playing in that energy anymore on any level.
Right.
On any level.
On any
Right.
level, because it can't.
It's
It
just-
can't be there. And so and I always walk a little bit of a double sword because there are still these structures that have to be torn down in order for this new earth to be built. Patriarchy is one of them, and that's not coming from a feminist place. That's coming from a religious, a financial, all of the dogma that we have kind of playing out in our world has come from that energy of suppression and that
Yes.
divine feminine energy. And so that is going to have to continue to be dismantled. So that's not done yet. It's still
But
happening.
that's life, right? It's
It
always
is.
Yes.
dismantling and always
Right.
creating.
And we're always holding space for it. But I think too, there's this piece of where, we choose what we want to focus on. But how do we hold that space of sacred sacred activism, sacred awareness, sacred honoring of what is, because I think we also can't put the blinders back on and not see some of the injustices that are happening in the world too. Like
Exactly.
we can't just disregard some of the stuff. We've got a lot of heavy stuff that's showing up. And so
Right.
we need those people to pull their swords out and to lead those momentums and those energies.
And when you say sword,
Sword of truth,
Our
sword of
voice.
power, sword
Our
of our,
voice.
it's our energy. It's what we put our energy towards. And
Right.
so that's important. It's not, we don't want to suppress it, and we don't want to pretend
Right.
that it's like, if we ignore it, we shove it back under. But there's a lot of people that are starting to move into, what do I really want my life to be? What does it really mean to me? What do I really care about? It's changing our relationship to our work. It's changing our relationship to our family. It's changing our relationship to our earth. It's changing our relationship to our financial, how we handle our money, what we look at with our money, what we want to do with our money. All of that's changing. And so that's really where I see that's the embodiment piece for me, is
Yes.
what do we choose? What do we choose to have this life play out? Because when we come into that true oneness and sovereignty, we honor exactly our choices and what we're doing, and knowing that that creates the ripple effect to have everyone move up to that space.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's
And
just
it's the
kinda how I
truth.
feel about it. Yeah.
For me, it's
Yeah,
the truth.
it is
And
true.
yeah.
Yeah, I feel, and that's the thing. Like, whatever feels true to you is true, and what isn't, throw it out.
So, in essence, would you say, honestly, what we have to do still is look at ourselves and choose on our own playing field how we want to be in the world, how we want to feel in the world. And that's really the key to
Yeah.
moving all of us forward.
Yeah, I think, coming back to unconditional love,
Yeah.
coming back to that vibration and releasing judgment as much as we can, shift out of that duality consciousness. There's going to come a place where, and this is kind of where it's starting to move, like even with shadow work, once you experience that, you go through the first cycle of it and you see yourself as victim. Then you go through the next cycle of it and you see yourself as the perpetrator. And then you come through it and you see yourself as both, and you know that you're all of it. And it's
Yes.
like you just make these immediate shifts, and it's
and
like,
that's where we're at now.
and that's
Right.
where we are. Like, that's where it's happening. Like, I still think, like, I don't want to, again, spiritually bypass. If people haven't done that work, like, please go deep and allow yourself to be in both of those spaces. There's resources out there, because it is important, because that's the work that's playing out on our planet right now. And that's what's going to create that shift collectively for us to all embody in that space of, it is all oneness. It is all love. The divine is within all of us, But if we're playing in victim and we're playing in perpetrator, that's going to continue us on that duality paradigm. We're back and forth in that that swing, in that pendulum swing, and it's time to jump off of that pendulum.
Yes. Yes.
It's time to
Well,
just
or that triangle.
Yeah.
It's that triangle of disempowerment. And one
Yeah.
person can play it, two people can play it, multiple people can play it.
Yeah.
But it's the victim, perpetrator, and rescuer
Yeah.
cycle that human energy gets stuck
Right.
in. And if we can break that triangle, it just opens up the ability to see all of it in all of us.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
work through that. Yes.
Yeah.
But that's been some really common lately.
Right. And this
Yeah.
12-12-12, and I know this is probably, is it airing after that gateway?
It's actually right after that.
Right after that. So that's going to be a powerful gateway for a lot of people. Like, that's it carries a lot of these light codes that are coming in for 2020. And so
Yeah.
that's going to be powerful. And I think people are going to come into 2020 and not recognize themselves
Yes.
in a good way.
Yeah.
It's going to be, it's going to be pretty cool.
How can we be of service? Like, how can somebody listening to this amazing conversation today, like, how can we be of service to them,
Yeah.
this conversation in relating to 2020?
Yeah. So I think, find a mentor.
Find a mentor.
Yes, find a mentor. I would say, do the things that you need to do to raise your own vibration. And if you don't know what that is, there's lots of resources, that we can find. Google,
YouTube.
Yes. Plug into a community. Community's huge.
Yes, tribe.
Yeah, you need a tribe. You need a community. And
we're so blessed, to have an amazing tribe and community here.
Yes.
Here.
Yeah.
Here.
We have this here.
Yes, we do.
Well, St. Louis is
It's a fooler. Most people think that it's...
Well, St. Louis is St. Louis is hugely powerful. And I think it's because of the positioning. We're right in the center.
Yes.
We are in the center of the country. We've got 2 rivers that come through. There has been more duality consciousness played out in our world here, just in the way our neighborhoods are structured in St. Louis, of if you live in North County, if you live in South County, there's all these layers of judgment. And then we have a whole religious paradigm stacked on top of that I won't go into. But there's a lot of dense energy that has tried to suppress St. Louis. But I do believe that we know
it's also filled with light.
Keys of Enoch and those things, that there's been a long time, a lot of intuitives have been tapping into that St. Louis is that gateway for ascension. And there's a massive... if you put the whole heart of the dove encompasses, St. Louis, Arkansas, and it goes further south. So it's that whole area that's, we're catalysts for healing this and shifting it. And I think that's why sometimes people in St. Louis can feel it a little bit more intensely.
Yeah.
Because we're just wedged in the center of it. Yeah. We've also got this ancient, and I don't want to go down a rabbit hole, but we've got this ancient Atlantean and Lemurian energy that's playing out in the duality too. And so there's there's these old timelines that have been needed to be repaired and healed. And so there's a lot of us that come and awaken that. Yeah.
See, I don't know why, but when you said that, I saw the Cahokia Mountains.
Yes.
What is that?
That's one of the sacred spots. Yeah. There's lots of sacred spots and around Missouri. It's all gridded.
Do you know where the others, Forest Park? Forest Park. Yeah, Forest Park.
Yeah.
Is it?
We need to do a whole nother podcast on
Okay,
this.
we will.
Let's do.
That would be fun. I would love to.
After the
I
first
geek
of the
out on
year.
this.
The first of the year,
Yeah.
seriously.
Yeah, I geek out on
I
this
get
stuff.
chills.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's important right now.
Yeah.
Because we need to anchor in this energy at these nodes.
Well, let's do it.
Okay,
Let's-
seriously.
On site, too.
Yeah, that would be pretty powerful.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about that.
Okay,
Yes, we
sounds
will.
good. I would love to.
Thank you. I'm so glad you said that, because I'm sitting here just itching inside
Yeah.
going, yes, we
Yes,
gotta do this.
jump up
It's
and
a whole
down.
new subject.
Yeah, it is.
So-
Yeah, I didn't mean to bring that
No,
No,
in.
it's
it's
perfect.
fabulous.
But yeah,
it's perfect.
yeah. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
But all the more reason for people to
Mm-hmm.
shine their own light,
It is.
do their
Well,
work, and
Yeah,
and just,
and there is really there's no work for us to do.
no.
It's just to be,
No. It's
to
just
embody,
be,
to embody the
yes.
love.
What's that mean to you, embody?
Embody means to, that's a great question. I can feel the frequency of it.
What's it feel like?
It feels expansive. It feels that I'm all in one at the same time. It feels like there's not part of me that's separate. It feels like I feel total freedom, bliss, love, adventure, like all of it. Just any high vibrational, that you're actually holding those frequencies in your body, and that's it. That it's
like in the cells of your body.
Yeah,
Like in
you're
the
that
cells of your
crystalline like light, and it's like any of the stuff that our body is like, just what it is, like you got a little extra padding here or whatever, it's like
Yay.
all I know, right? Like all of that stuff is just there to create more opening and more expansion for us to love ourselves and to come deeper more in love with one another. And I think that's, and then I think as we raise that and we continue to raise frequencies, gosh, I don't know, like, do we just become these light beings and just kind of float away?
Right.
Maybe.
One day.
Float around.
One day.
Yeah.
So,
Maybe.
yeah, I think, I think that's, for me, it's being completely in tune with nature and
Such a huge part.
oh, it's so
Such
huge
a
for
huge
me.
part.
Yeah, we're getting
Yes.
ready. My daughter and I are getting ready to relocate on that land that I bought last year, and that's a whole story, which we could tie into with the land and the
Yes.
sacred points, because there was a lot of stuff that came in during that. But that's an awesome story that I like to share. But yeah, I mean, we're even feeling called to live more of a simply, more in tune with nature, quiet, peace.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, because it's like my mind wants to go, there's something to do, like in order to, but like that just feels so fallen off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Like,
know.
It just doesn't, like, it's not even there anymore.
And
like,
I think
do
that's-
these little things and you're going to be great. It's like, no.
No.
You're already great.
Yeah.
You are.
You're already great.
And I
Being
think that's
is
where,
the doing.
Yeah.
Being is the
the
new
doing,
doing.
Right.
Yes.
It is.
It is.
And I think that's where
is.
our money structure has to.
That's her title.
Okay.
Being is
yeah.
the new doing.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, totally. I think that's where our money structure has to change and shift.
Yeah.
Because there is no more hustle, there is no more grind, there is no more you align and you attract.
Yes.
And that's the divine feminine way of doing business, actually, is allowing it to flow, allowing it to attract into your life.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and doing business from a conscious level, a sacred space, how do you become of service is the primary focus.
Right.
How am I serving? Like,
Right.
what is that? What does that look like? How am I serving my community? How am I serving my family? How am I serving the earth? All of it is we're coming out of, again, that separateness. So we're realizing that yes, we are these individuals and we're all amazing in our own space, but we're also part of that symbiotic, we're the honeycomb.
Comb, yes.
We're the cell in the honeycomb. We're the integral piece of this operation, and we need to allow ourselves to support that and nurture it for ourselves.
Yeah.
That's how we feel, I think, the most fulfilled.
I agree.
You know?
I agree totally.
Yeah.
Well, Courtney, thank
Yes.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's been fabulous
thank you.
once
It's
again.
been an honor. Yes.
And I look forward to meeting up with you in January.
Yeah.
Yes, we're definitely going to do that. I'm really excited
Absolutely.
about it.
Me
Yes,
too.
thank you again. And,
Yeah. Thank you. It's
any
always an honor to talk
any
to you.
takeaways for you, Miss Marilyn?
Oh, well, there's so many takeaways. But really, it's being is the doing is what really,
Goes with that embodiment.
all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Everything you said, talked about. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you for all of it too. We all are activating one another. We do these.
Yes.
Here we go.
we.
Well, I hope everyone listening enjoyed today's conversation, and that I hope you walk away after listening to this amazing podcast looking at life a little bit differently in 2020 as the expansion in which it is.
Yeah.
And no resistance. I offer no resistance
Yeah.
to what is.
Yeah. Love it. Thank you.
Thanks for listening, guys. We will see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.